Hello trend followers, and welcome to the Trend Following Weekly Review. In this review, as always, we're going to review the Asian markets, the European markets, and the markets in the USA. Before we do that, if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. Remember to like us so that other people can find this information we're sharing with you about how the banks trade, and to share so that your friends too may want to build a trading business, and you can share the video with them and they can learn how to do this. Or they might just want a part-time income, as this strategy works very well for that. If you haven't also, turn on that notification bell. It's only by turning on the notification bell that YouTube can alert you when we've put out a new video, and you can get hold of that time-critical information that we're sharing with you. Okay, so let's review Asia. Let's start with the Hang Seng. So as we look at the Hang Seng this week, we can see that 52-week moving average is still falling, but I like to highlight, before we get going, the previous winners. So let's look at the previous winners in 2018. We had that set up there, and the double bottom there where we entered and we exited there. Lovely. And in 2019 we had a couple of winners there, and that brings us up to this year, 2020. So we can see there on the chart that in February 2020 we had a lovely little setup where the market, if we look at the RSI, we're bouncing off the 50, nice entry there off the 50, bar that's high testing at 28,000, we short that at 27.3, and we ride that one all the way down to April, where we take profits. Market moves up to the swing high, just below 25,000, and then the market drops back to the swing low at 22,500, giving us another opportunity to buy this one if the Hang Seng's a market that you trade, and we get in this one long at 24,700. That trade is still going. However, key thing of this market, particularly this week, it looks as though the market could be running into some short-term resistance. Now, if we look here, we're below the 52-week moving average. The 52-week moving average is falling, and there we just have the market trying to poke above the 50 on the RSI, but again, the market's falling, and we could be falling into some resistance there. That's one to watch. Let's go over to China. So in China, let's look at 2018, previous winners. So we've got that lovely double bottom that sets up in 2018. That results in a tremendous win. Just highlight that for you. That's where we got in. That's where we got out. Lovely little trade. Then after that, if we look at the 52-week moving average, the 52-week moving average has been very flat. So there's absolutely nothing there for us. We don't trade a 52-week moving average that's flat. We need one that's falling, or we need one that's rising. The last week that we've had here, if we look at that candle, absolutely enormous candle there in China. It's gone up and it's broken that level of 3100 that has been prior level of resistance. 3100, 3125, around that area has been resistance. We've managed to get to 3150. Now what remains to be seen now? Is 3150 a new level of resistance, and will the market reverse from there? Or can the market even get to 3250 before it will get into a real wall of resistance that will be at that level of the previous high? So that's one to watch. That's China. Nothing really going on there. It's flat at the moment, but we just want to see what happens in the next week or so. Let's go over to the Nikkei in Japan. So here's the Nikkei in Japan. First thing we notice about this, remember the key thing for us is the 52-week moving average. The exponential 52-week moving average there is very, very flat. So nothing really there for us. However, let's go to this year and we look at March. We've got an inverse head and shoulders there and an entry at 19.5. Markets run up and looks as though we got very close to taking profits this last week. And again, if this has run into resistance here, the market still isn't able to get above 23,000, which was a prior level of resistance. So either the market is going to drop back a little bit here, in which anyone who got in this trade at 19.5 will be ringing the cash register and taking profit, or the market will try and push a little higher, but again it's got a massive overhead resistance level of 24,000. So more resistance to come on this one, or profit taking in the short term. Let's go over to Europe now. So we go over to Europe. First thing we look at is the FTSE 100. Again, look at the 52-week EMA. Really flat there, nothing for us. A couple of levels that set up. 7,600 was a key level there. But then the market does set up at 7,400 for the COVID situation, the slowdown, the economy, and obviously when the COVID situation took over, we had that sell at 7,400, high testing there. The market drops away several weeks in a row there, catch a lovely trade and get out at 5,800. There's our entry, there's our exit, lovely trade. Then the market puts in a inverse head and shoulders in March. We can see that one there, and some would have a go at this one, buying it long at 5,800. FTSE 100 is not the market that's known for explosive moves, but it looks as though we're almost at profit taking again. So if you look at this one, what's happened this week, quite a flat week. Look at the candle, totally flat. But that looks like it's running some resistance there. It's still below that 52-week EMA. And if you look at the 50 on the RSI, we're still below that there as well. That says to me it's running into some profit taking, and the market may slow down as we see profit taking come to that market and many European markets. So again, let's have a look at the French market, the CAC 40. Let's look at the winners, previous winners. Just helps us to appreciate how good this strategy really is. Okay, so we've got the previous winners in 2018. Got that short there. Lovely little trade. And that one there, that sets up in December of 2018 and runs into 2019. Lovely little trade. And the winners in 2019, bouncing off the 50. Love it when it bounces off the 50 when the market's in an uptrend. So we've got a rising 52-week EMA, and then those bounces off the 50 in 2019. Lovely opportunity. Let's look at this year now. So in January and February, clearly see France there, CAC 40 double top at 6,100. There's the short that we take. Market shutdown, COVID situation, market collapses, and we take our profit at 4,500. Lovely little trade. Since then, market's tried to run up. We've gone to the swing high of 4,700, dropped back to 4,200, the swing low, giving us a little setup there. Buoyed by the market at about 4,400, 44, 4,500, and we see the market runs up there, and then we're having this problem again. The market can't get above that falling 52-week EMA. And then we look at the RSI, struggling to get above the 50. So something's up there. I expect there to be a little bit of profit taking. Market might try to move a little higher, but it definitely seems to be struggling to get above that 52-week EMA. And several markets, remember I talk about check the region. This is the time, check the region, have a look at what's going on, and you can see several markets in Europe cannot get above the 52-week EMA. There's one that has though. Let's have a look at Germany. So we go over to the German DAX. Again, firstly, let's look at the previous winners. So it was in a downtrend in 2018. We had that lovely setup there. There's the entry, there's the exit. And then we were able to take it the other way as it creates a bottoming pattern and a low test. December 2018 into 2019, lovely little trade. Then in 2019, look at those bounces off the 50, 3 lovely opportunities there. Then we get this situation where the market puts in a high test on the RSI, and then the market falls from 13,500 all the way down to we take profits at 10.5. Lovely little trade on the German DAX. But in March this year, we can see an inverse head and shoulders there. And that tells us to buy that long at 10,500. So we take the trade the other way, and we've rode that trend, lovely little trend, all the way up to 12,500 where we currently are. However, the market seems to be struggling to take out the previous high. It's trying to go for it, and we're above the 50 on the RSI, which is promising, and we're above the 52-week EMA, but the rest of Europe isn't. And when I look at the region, that just gives me a little bit of caution. The fact that only one market is above the 52-week EMA, the 52-week EMA is still falling, and Germany is the only market, although they are the biggest economy in Europe, they're the only one to get above the 52-week EMA. So it remains to be seen whether they can stay above the 52-week EMA, or whether they're going to fall into a wall of resistance and profit taking on this beautiful run that we've had from the March lows. So let's go over and look at Spain, the IBEX. So here's the IBEX. Again, is in a downtrend. It's been in a downtrend for a very long time. A couple of pokes above the 52-week EMA. But let's look at 2018. Look at the winners there. So we've got that little situation there. There's the winners in 2018. And then that set up in December, where we take profits at 9,400. Then we get that seller high test bar in 2019 in July. Lovely little trade, and we take our profits there. And then we're out of the market until 2020. No clear pattern for us to trade. But if we look here at January 2020, January and February, we can clearly see the high test. And on the RSI in January and February, we've got the double top. And then the market falls away, the COVID situation again, and that's a beautiful trade, and take profits at 7,100. That one there, if you went long on that one, the market's trying to move up. We've done 7,100, gone up to 8,000, and then it seems to be struggling. And as we can see there, the 52-week EMA is falling, like the rest of Europe. The RSI is below the 50 still, and it's bounced off the 50 in May, and now we're moving into July. It's still not clear of those two areas, not clear of that falling 52 EMA, and not clear of the RSI at the 50 level. So that just says to me that there's weakness there, and it's just a need to have some caution as we trade these markets at the moment, because they have had, a lot of markets have had a very good run from the March lows, and it's just that time where, particularly even the time of year, where you may get some profit taking coming into the markets. So just watch the trend. The trend's your friend until the bend at the end. Let's have a look at the FTSE Movespa in Italy. So here's the FTSE Movespa. Lovely little trade in 2018. Look at that setup in September. Lovely move down there. Great trade. Then we get that double bottom there in October, December. Market moves back the other way. Take that trade, and we exit there at 2,100. Then we look in 2019. 3 beautiful opportunities bouncing off the 50. Buy that there, out there. Buy that there. Lovely opportunities there. Very good. Then we move up to this year and look at what's happened again. Very similar to the other markets. There we can see that double top type pattern on the RSI, January and February. We've also got that high test bar at 25,000. Those two things are screaming sell, sell, sell this market. Double top in January and February, high test bar at 25,000, market drops away, gaps that first week, then goes again and again and again. Several bars there as the market starts to collapse, and we take our profits at 17,500. Beautiful trade. But coming up to what's happened now, we had that pattern, not the clearest one in March, the reversal pattern. Not sure many traders would have traded this one because there's so many better opportunities with a much cleaner pattern and cleaner break that comes from the pattern. But if we look here, where are we now? Well, we seem to be getting some congestion. Here's the falling 52-week EMA. Remember, the trend's your friend, so the market has been in a downtrend. The market all this year is in a downtrend. That 52-week EMA is falling. The RSI, the market cannot get above that 50. We're close to it, but we just seem to be having a real problem with the level of 20,000 on the FTSE and Vespa. So that just remains to be seen whether the market can get above there. Always watch the trend though, and the 52-week EMA, and at the moment that 52-week EMA is falling and price action cannot clear that 52-week EMA. So let's go over to the USA and check the American markets. We're going to start with the Dow. Before we do that, don't forget, if you haven't already, to subscribe, to like, to click that like, give us that thumbs up, just so that other people can benefit from this information. It helps YouTube to share the video and let people see where we are and share that to them. Also share this information with your friends, because they too may want to build a trading business, or they may want to build a part-time income. So let's carry on with the Dow. So let's look at 2018, previous winners. So we have a short there. There's one there, 2018. But then the biggest thing that we get in 2018, look at that triple bottom, October, November, December, market moves up, lovely little trade. Then again, if you look at the bounces off the 50, the market, the 52-week EMA is rising, lovely to see that rising trend. But then look at the bounces off the 50 on the RSI, gives us very good opportunities to get in here and get out there. Very good. Then come up to 2020, where we are now, what's happened this year. In January and February, look at that very clear double top that we can see on the market. There's the double top. We know that there's a problem there. Market sells off, we're short at 29,000. Market gaps away that first week, and then the market absolutely collapses and we take our profit on that short and get out at 23,600. Lovely little trade. Then we got a very clear in March inverse head and shoulders. If we look there on the RSI, very clear inverse head and shoulders, telling us to reverse the position, go long at 23,600. The market runs up. We've put in the swing high at 27.5, but then there's this problem getting above that 52-week EMA. The same problem that we see in Europe. The market is struggling to close above the 52-week EMA. And then if we look at the RSI, we've popped above the 50 and then we've dropped back and we've become very flat. Now this move that we've had from the March lows is quite a sizable move, getting on for 40%. When you get a big move like that, there's potential that you're going to get some profit taking. That's just something to be aware of. Expect profit takers to come, and I think we're getting very close to that time where we may see some more profit taking ahead. So let's go over to the S&P 500, the most watched market in America. Again, let's look at the previous winners. So in 2018, we had that double top there on the RSI. Lovely little short that we took there. Drops all the way to December. By December, we can see a clear triple bottom. October, November, December. Take that one long. We're in there. Beautiful little trade. And we take our profits at 2,900. Then the 52-week EMA is rising. So that's our setup. That's what we look for. And then again, bounces off the 50 and with a rising 52, we get those setups in 2019. Then we look at the S&P 500 this year, and the Dow had a double top there. The S&P has no double top on the chart. The S&P has no double top on the RSI. But again, it comes back to check the region. Check the region. It's very important to do this because the Dow has a double top on the chart. The Nasdaq has a double top on the RSI. And so when we check and put it all together, we check the region, we realize if they're selling, the S&P is going to sell as well. So it's important to check the region, see what's going on, then we get a clear picture of how the market's moving. So the market drops away, lovely little trade, take profits at 2,800, and we've got a clear inverse head and shoulders in place there in March, telling us to reverse the position. We buy it long at 2,800 and we're still long. However, again, we've got this congestion. The last 3 weeks, the market hasn't moved very much price-wise. It swung around in a volatile short-term volatile fashion, but the market hasn't cleared this 3,200 high that it's put in. That tells me there's some weakness there. The sellers are coming in, and every time we're moving up, we're getting some profit taking, which is holding the market back. That's something to be aware of, what's going on at the moment. Finally, let's go and look at the Nasdaq. Nasdaq, lovely little winner there. Let's look at 2018. Look at the 2018 winners. So we've got this situation where the Nasdaq gets almost to the 80 on the RSI, which is oversold. Then we look at the chart. We've got those two red candles double topping. Market falls away all the way to December. When we get to December, we can clearly see a triple bottom on the RSI. We take it again the other way. Lovely little swing trade. Back up all the way to the top there, and we take our profits at 8,000. Then we look at the RSI. We can see those bounces off the 50. We've got a rising 52-week exponential moving average, which tells us there are buying opportunities there, and beautiful ones they were. That was 2019. Move forward to 2020. Look at the RSI in January and February. Clear double top seen on the RSI. High test bar at 9,600. Market sells off, breaks away, and the market just collapses, and we take our profits at 8,100. Beautiful little trade. But then again in March, we've got something telling us just to reverse the position. We've got that clear inverse head and shoulders on the Nasdaq. So that's very clear there for us to take a reversal on this one. It's an inverse head and shoulders. It's a reversal pattern. We buy it long at 81.50. Are in the market until now. Still haven't taken profit on the Nasdaq. Still long on the Nasdaq. However, the Nasdaq has just hit that level of 10,000. It's just hit that 10,000 level. So I expect after a massive run percentage-wise that we've had, some profit taking to come in, and the market may start to stagnate a little bit here. It may have need to pull back a little bit. But again, look at this lovely trend. The trend is your friend until the bend at the end. We look at the 52-week EMA. It's rising. It's been a beautiful trade, and you made a lot of money on the way down. Reversed the trade in March and made money on the way up. So great trade there. Great couple of trades. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe, to like this so that others can find the information. Drop us your comments about yourself, your trend following, and how you're getting on with the strategy. And if there's things that I've talked about here that you haven't understood, perhaps you haven't understood the swing high, swing low, triple bottom, double tops, bounces off the 50, the RSI, inverse head and shoulders. If any of those terms are unfamiliar to you, don't worry. We have a strategy video that I'm going to link in right here, and you can click on that and you can watch the strategy video. Very important that you watch that, just so that you understand exactly what we're talking about. Once you understand the strategy video, each week as you watch me talk about and analyze the charts, it will become clearer and clearer and clearer, so that you really can master trading trends. So until next week, take care, and I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.